How you all doing? Guess what? Every time is tea time. So this is a cup of tea with Auntie Winnie. Another episode of my, is it shenanigans? Or my musings as a person who is always interested in discussing issues that affect the community, the society that we live in, for all the generations that we are part of. And I belong in a generation where now the younger people are my children. I'm in the generation X. And so I feel that I've become qualified in a way to become an auntie, to just share sentiments about some of the values that we carry in society right now, and things that I see happening every day for people with people of different age groups in terms of interactions, social interactions. And I feel that I should give my input, and especially because I'm a mother and I'm also a teacher, and bring some issues that I have or feelings that I have about certain issues, and discuss them with you, my audience, if you're watching. And I really look forward to good, hopefully positive feedback. Feel free to like this video and the others that have come before. If you can go to my YouTube channel, Facebook account, LinkedIn, Instagram, and just see what I do. Usually I package myself as Winnie the Music Educator, but this is a cup of tea with Auntie Winnie. So it would be nice to actually just go in and support me and my work. I do a lot of I do a lot of videos to do with music, and also as I said, like this one, the social things that affect us as people living together now. And so today I'm interested in talking about something that has been on my mind lately. There's lots that it happens every day, and sometimes it's not just one thing that you're thinking about. But today I wanted to narrow down on a trend that's been catching some momentum on social media lately. And this came from a video that went viral on social media the other day, where we had, I think, teachers in a high school celebrating with students a cultural day, and something happened. So, of course, in the whole space of merrymaking, which is okay, in my opinion, something else came up, that teachers who now went overboard and started using very suggestive dance moves with their own colleagues, male and female, and they're doing all these dance moves, directing their bodies in a certain suggestive manner, I guess. And it didn't look very good, because I'm a teacher, I'm a mother, and at my age also, you're thinking, if you have students that represent, when I was growing up, and I'd like to compare with how I grew up, just for purposes of discussion, and also as my audience, you can also give your own input and say, what has changed, what is good, what can we need to revert to. Because when I grew up in the 70s and 80s as a young person, we held people in authority with high with a very on a very high social pedestal, and basically they were our role models. I mean, even prefects in school are role models. If you had a prefect, if you're not a prefect, you're just a normal student, and there was a prefect, that prefect was supposed to be able to carry themselves in a certain manner to role model for you the way you're supposed to do the right thing while you're in school. And so you can imagine teachers were, and even still, in my opinion, should be second parents to students in school. That is why a lot of times when your child goes to school, my case included, you're not with them. Most of the time, they're spending most of the hours of the day in school. And it's only weekends mostly you get to interact with them. So you expect teachers to be able to model your parenting also in school, at least by the way they carry themselves. There's a role that parents have to do before you take your children to school. That's really important, and we can't negate that, which is another topic altogether I would like to discuss in other videos. But today, I'm thinking about when you're a person in a position of authority, where people are looking up to you as a role model, how should you carry yourself? So I had two people in mind, or two authorities in mind: teachers and politicians. So that's why I started with the teachers, because I'm a teacher, so that comes very naturally to me. When you're a teacher, starting with even how you dress, how you dress your body type, so that at least at the end of the day, because we are all made differently, you are not creating a situation where learning is digressed, and attention is put on how, is more towards how you're dressing than what the teacher is teaching. You see, like, taken away from proper learning, as a distraction. Then we have now the way you carry yourself in terms of behavior. And so this particular video sparked something in me, because then it made me remember how we used to see our teachers and how they used to behave in front of us. Hey, those days, laugh out loud. If you met a teacher along the corridor, let's say you're walking and they're coming, you're going this direction and they're coming towards you from wherever. It couldn't have been just a break. Maybe you're going to a toilet break, you're going to the toilet, or it's break time. There was just the way you would respond. We I want to use the word fear. Maybe that was a bit of it, but it helped us to be better and do better in school and focus on education and respect those teachers who are giving us knowledge. Maybe now, because people feel, students, young people feel that, oh, we have AI. I mean, technology is also there and it gives knowledge. Maybe we disregard the role of teachers, physical teachers. I don't know. That's something you could tell me. But otherwise, we regarded teachers as people we held in high regard, and they carried themselves with a high level of self-esteem. And so interactions with students was not so casual. That's actually the word I'm looking for. So now there's a certain casualness. I mean, if you're walking and the teacher, you would stand. I was in that point where I was saying, if you met a teacher coming towards you, you would either stand alert and wait for them to approach you, and you greet them with respect. And then if they ask you a question, you reply likewise with respect. Then you go your own way. They would actually have to release you, because you wouldn't continue walking until the teacher says, okay, you can go your way, make sure you come back to class on time, or something like that. And they still have the liberty to say, why are you walking around the corridor right now? This still supposed to be in class. So they were a force of discipline to us, and we kind of revered them in a good way. And so as a teacher, that is something. Right now, it was one of the inspirations for me to be a teacher, because you're holding yourself on a high pedestal in terms of how you represent yourself to represent yourself to people, in front of people. A person who has a bit of some level of integrity, a good level of integrity, a person who loves discipline, and so you hope that that is something that you want to see happening with other colleagues around, and I know right now we have very many, there are teachers cutting across different generations, yeah, and so many young teachers now. But so my question is, how far is too far when you're interacting with students? When you go on stage and you're having this occasion where we're all happy and all that, but you're dancing. First of all, your dress code in itself is not helping. So probably showcasing a little too much of flesh or something like that. And then now you're also using moves that, hey, that can suggest, especially you can imagine high school students of a certain age, they're teenagers, and they can see you, maybe a woman like me, doing some suggestive dance moves, then what? After that occasion, then what? Do you think that those students will see you in the same light again? Will they be distracted towards proper learning by some of these things they saw? And nowadays, technology is good, but it's also bad, because everything is shown. Like, you might be doing something, maybe when you didn't think about it, and then it goes viral. So that becomes a problem, I feel. But I'm not the judge here. I'm just bringing a concern and my own observations into the space for us to discuss as a community. As I said, we are in a community with different generations, and some of our upbringing, now being an older person, was different from what we see now. But at the same time, I want to feel that there's a point of cohesion where we can agree on some social values and how we should be able to carry ourselves in the different roles. And today I'm addressing teachers. And now I want to go to the politicians. So the politicians, again, are role models to the subjects they lead, because they are chosen to represent people, their people, the community that they are supposed to be serving in government, so that all the resources that are pulled together from the people and through the government to be able to be disseminated for developmental projects, the politicians are supposed to go and champion for for their own people what they need in the government system, so that they can be able to get the services that they require and they so deserve. Because without leadership, then you can't run anything. You can't run a country effectively. So a country, every institution has to have leadership. So when you have politicians who now are big, I mean, these are people who represent hundreds of thousands of people, millions even, and then you are in a baraza, public baraza, or you're addressing a political rally, and all you're using is vulgarism. There's a lot of that now, and as I say, technology is a good thing, but it exposes everything. So you're listening to a video where a leader is addressing people, trying maybe to campaign for something, but they're using vulgar language, and you're thinking, what? And really vulgar language, which is sexual in its intonations, and you're addressing people who are supposed to be respecting you, and different age groups. Again, if there are children in that rally, how do you do this? How are you supposed to be regarded as a good leader? How are you supposed to be regarded as a wise leader? I'm just wondering, the people who are addressed in this way by these leaders, and some of them are even laughing, including colleagues. Even if you're trying to stab at an opponent, do you have to use vulgarism? I never had that when I was young, and we had all these leaders, politicians. I'm not saying, they were 100% angels or anything like that, but at least they would not, the way they modeled to us those days, in my eyes, when we had leaders of that repute, the politicians, when I was a younger person, we held them again with high regard. We respected them because they also respected themselves. And there's a way a leader would address you, and you'd listen. That is why we chose you to be a leader in the first place, so that you can lead by example, how you're supposed to how you're supposed to lead. I can imagine taking that vulgarism in a situation now with the younger people looking for work, and because they're exposed to that from their own leaders, who some of them are their fathers and mothers, figures, then you're going to look for a job. Do you think those young people are going to represent themselves in the right way to would-be employers? We're having problems. I know that as a person who runs a business, I'm having a lot of problems with bringing in the younger people in the workspace, because even that respect, there's such a thin line now. They don't, it's so easy for them to be insubordinate, but because they're copying from the leaders. If you can be insulting people in public or using vulgar language, how do you expect anyone else to do better? So that concerns me. That concerns me as an authority myself, in my own way, and how we present ourselves as people who are in the public domain as leaders. And this can be reflected by other leaders in different spaces as well. And so, as a society, have we lost some control? Have we lost the control of representing ourselves as people who should be who are role models, who are supposed to be the sort of like the yardstick to which we want to say it's a moral yardstick of how people should live in the society and communicate with one another, so that at least things can run smoothly. Because as I said, without good leadership, without good governance, there's chaos. So you can't just say it's fine for everyone to do what they want. And as leaders, we are supposed to be the first people with who uphold high levels of, also, for me, it's a point of humility to lead in a way that, like shepherd, the way a shepherd leads the flock. you know there's that humility, that caring, that nurturing. And so shouldn't we ask ourselves a few questions? Like when we do some of these things, and then on social media it's going viral to the extent that even now you take those as challenges. I'm that wow. Now everyone has taken a challenge, doing a challenge of trying to expose, for example, their behinds, using their tools of trade as a way of marketing. Okay, sorry guys, I'm not trying to judge anyone, but I'm just saying how far is too far. And when we are talking about a society that caters for different age groups and different people, as I said, the young and the old, spaces of learning, spaces of leadership where you're representing people, people's needs, shouldn't we have some moral standards that we should uphold ourselves to, or not? And I'm really interested, as Auntie Winnie, I need a little sip of tea. Digress a little bit. This tea is beautiful. It is that tea that is cooked with a lot of love, lots of ginger, lots of tea leaves. It's really nice. If you love tea, hit me up. I might just have a surprise for you one of these days. Maybe we should have just a tea party for those who love tea as we discuss some of these issues that are brought forward. And I'm looking forward to you commenting on this video, sharing it if you can relate with it, and you're a person of authority and some of these things concern you also, you could share it. Feel free to give a comment, and also tell me what other topics you'd like me to address in this space that we can all discuss. So it's not like I'm the person, I'm the one carrying the commandments or anything like that, but I'm just an authority, an older person, somebody who also has been in a position of leadership, in positions of leadership, and I feel that I have something through experience to be able to share, or concerns that we can all discuss and see how we can be able to make our communities safer spaces to live in, better places for all the different generations that get together, so that we can live in cohesion and be able to influence each other positively. So thank you so much for listening. And wherever you are, make sure you serve yourself a nice hot cup of tea. I think tea taking is very therapeutic. Maybe it's an age thing, but again, it's something that is tea is safe. It has got those, it makes you feel good about yourself. If it does that for you, please make sure you serve yourself a nice cup of tea, and also join me in a conversation where you say, you want to have a cup of tea with me. Let me know that, and then we can organize something, because I'm looking forward to interacting more with the community in a positive way, and in a way that we can all enjoy ourselves discussing the issues that affect us every day.